delighted and honored to have Haneen Al Zoubi with us today. A very big welcome to you. Ahlan wa sahlan. And welcome also to our audiences here at the Palestine Center and online as well. I'd like to thank Avigdor and the Palestinian American Community Center of New Jersey and New York for organizing her lecture tour and including the Palestine Center on it. Just by way of introduction, as you know, there are 1.7 million Palestinians living as citizens of Israel. They represent a full 20% of the population. They experience deep-seated racism and discrimination every day on all levels of life in Israel. As a Palestinian citizen of Israel and a newly re-elected member of the Knesset, Haneen Al Zoubi has been a tireless advocate for the civil and human rights of this marginalized community. Her party, Balad or Hizb al-Tajammu' al-Watani al-Demokrati, is now part of the unified list, which garnered 13 Knesset seats in the most recent Israeli election. Haneen Al Zoubi has paid a high price for her activism. The Israeli right has targeted her for many years, trying to revoke her citizenship and to disqualify her from re-election. The Knesset Ethics Committee suspended her for 6 months based on her political views, and the Israeli High Court affirmed the suspension. The Israeli Election Committee refused to qualify Haneen Al Zoubi as a candidate for re-election in 2013 and again in 2015, but they lost this campaign to silence her. And she has now won elections in 2009, 2013, and 2015. Haneen Al Zoubi is the first Palestinian woman elected to the Knesset on the Palestinian political party list. She was born and educated in Nazareth. She has a BA from the University of Haifa and an MA in Media Studies from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. We have asked her to talk for about 30 minutes, after which we'll have questions and discussion. Those of you who are online, you can tweet us your questions at Palestine Center. Please help me in welcoming Haneen Al Zoubi.
And good morning. I expected a very informal meeting with 5, maybe 6 people. Now I must have this very formal meeting, but it's my pleasure, and I think it's very important for us, very much important as Palestinians, part of our Palestinian people and indigenous people continue to live in our homeland, which Israel, and Israel didn't succeeded in expelling us in 1948, although we are the forgotten side of the story. We are the forgotten side of our people, of the struggle between Israel and the Palestinian. Israel has treated us as internal issue, as an Israeli internal issue, although we don't have full rights, although she discriminates against us, and I will talk in detail about this. But when we talk about the Israeli-Palestinian, the Israeli-Arab struggle, whatever we call it now, no one talk about those who continue to live in their homeland, in their houses, in their villages, in their cities. And it's all about the occupation, crimes against humanity in the West Bank and Gaza Strip, killing our people, expanding settlements, and violence of the settlements and of the Israeli army against our people in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. But still, the Palestinian issue didn't start in 1967. And the Palestinian issue started as a refugee issue. Started in 1948. And we cannot talk about peace, talk about justice, which is the aim of peace, relative justice. If we forget that it is a refugee issue, it started in 1948, we are talking about the creation of a state on the expense of the Palestinian people. And still we can talk about the roots, the historical roots, and justice peace. We cannot talk about justice peace unless we talk about the reason of occupation, the definition of the state, the aim of Israel, and the way Israel treats the Palestinians wherever they are. And if the last defense of Israel, that I am the democracy, if after the claims that you are bombing Gaza, you are killing civilians in Gaza, you are stealing the land of the Palestinians in the West Bank, you are trying to control, you don't want peace, you are trying to control 60% of the Zone C in the West Bank, you build a racist wall inside the green line, inside the West Bank, not on the green line, in order also to confiscate more land, you are Judaizing Jerusalem, you are selling the شو أملاك property of the refugees, although you sign Oslo and you sign Rhodos in 1949, which you committed not to sell the property of the refugees until there is a peace process and until you sign an agreement with the PLO regarding the property of the Palestinian refugees. Although Israel started to sell the property of the refugees in an intensive way in 2007. From 2007 till 2014, Israel has sold 800 property from the 800 from the refugees' property, with a total silence of the Palestinians. Now, after all this claim, Israel will claim, okay, but we are a democracy, and we are a democracy which defends itself from Hamas, from the terrorists. And we cannot attack Hamas without killing 500 Palestinian children in Gaza, 400 Palestinian children in the West Bank. We are a democracy defending itself. Okay. The Palestinian in Ramallah and in Jenin cannot analyze this claim of a democracy because he is not a citizen. Because a democracy is equality between citizens. The democracy is a democratic regime towards citizens. And the Palestinians in the West Bank, in Ramallah, in Al Khalil, in Nablus, in Gaza are not citizens. I am a citizen. And we are the 1,200,000 Palestinians who stayed in their homeland. We are the test of Israel as a democracy or not. If Netanyahu or any prime minister can come to the USA and can speak so proudly about how democratic Israel is, and can everybody clap to him, and in the Congress they clap to him 32 times, I think because of ignorance. I think because no one knows in the USA, the empire USA, that in Israel there are 50 racist laws. In Israel, and I'm talking about the legal Israeli system. I'm not talking about occupation. I'm not talking about Hamas. And I am not talking about the Palestinians who are terrorists all over the world. I'm talking about the Israeli legal system. This is the test of democracy. So let's once talk about Israel itself. Let's once face the Israelis, face the ministers, face the MKs, face the Israeli media, face all those who claim that we are anti-Semitics. Whenever we criticize Israel, let's face them, not about the question how Israel treats the Palestinians, but about the questions how Israel treats itself, its citizens. What about Israel, the political and the legal system of Israel? I am a citizen. We didn't, as Palestinians, ask Israel to give us citizenship. It was the UN which asked Israel to give us citizenship in order to accept Israel as a member of the UN 1948, 1949. And we are treating our citizenship in a serious way. Look, I am in the Knesset. And every Israeli would say to you, Haneen is the Knesset, and Haneen is an indication of the Israeli democracy. But it's a little bit hard to talk about me specifically as an indication of the Israeli democracy after the incitement, disqualification. So they may use other more comfort examples as an indication and a proof of democracy. But as a citizens, let me explain the legal system we face. The 50 racist laws in Israel is an apartheid law which create an apartheid, which means two different systems, two different legal systems towards the two national categories inside Israel. One for the Jew and one for the Palestinians. I will give you an example, and I will deliver to you the name also of the website in order to use this material. It is an official material. Israel has confiscated 86% of our land till now, and there is an Israeli law which prevents me from living inside 700 community town inside Israel, which are built, of course, above my land. And when we say 700 community city, we mean every city which is under 400 housing units. By law, I cannot live above 60% of the land inside Israel, because these 700 community town control 60% of the land of Israel. And it's a land which was not passed in 1948, which not passed in the 50s and in the 60s when Israel felt it is weak and she wants to control everything. This is a new law. This is a law of 2011. This is the law of the Israeli laws book, because Israel has no constitution. It has passed in 2011, before 3 years. And of course the law doesn't mention the word Palestinian. The law mentions that the acceptance committee of these 700 community cities can reject anyone without the ability for me to appeal to the court, because this was the policy even before the law. But before the law, I had the ability to appeal to the court. Since there is a law, and it's an since there is a law, it's a legitimate racism. I cannot appeal to the court. The acceptance committee can reject me. Why? Under the justification that there is no social, I don't know if I translate, ملائمة اجتماعية. Social compatibility? Yeah, harmony. Social harmony and cultural harmony. Because, yeah, compatibility. Because these community cities must live in a harmony with the same ceremonies, with the same, I don't know, religious ceremonies, cultural ceremonies. So under social compatibility, this word, we are, as Palestinians, rejected. And you can find in Haaretz a case during the last month of a family who was, Arab family, of course, who was rejected. So it's what it is if not apartheid. And can you imagine the USA have such a law for the African Americans?
Can you imagine the USA have an acceptance committee law for rejecting some social groups who are constitute 19% of the society? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine what will happen in Europe if such a law has passed against Jews and or against any other group? So in Israel, all the land which Israel has confiscated, and why we are so considered about land, because it's still the most conflict issue between us and the state, the issue of land, of controlling the land. And in order to understand that this is not just an issue in the West Bank, that Judaizing the land, controlling the land on the expense of the Palestinians, that the slogan maximum land with minimum Palestinians, this is the summary of Zionism, is still the macro and the main relation between citizens and the state after almost 70 years. The issue of controlling the land. And when we in the Knesset talk about this, talk about 30,000 Palestinians, bravery plan, whom Israel wants to expel now, today, 2015, from the Negev. 30,000 Palestinians live in these very small Palestinian villages. Israel wants to expel. Why? In order to build 5 Jewish villages. Now the Negev, 12 million dunams. Half of Palestine. The Negev, the south, half of Palestine. You can build for the Jews anywhere you want. Within this 12 million dunams. No. We want your land to evacuate you, to يحاصركم, put you, يعني, yeah. I will also, I wish you know Arabic. So to put you to gather you in a small area and to control the land, and we will, with the same names, Israel will just keep the names. So Al-Hiran, the Arabic Palestinian Al-Hiran, will be destroyed, and the Jewish Hiran will be built. And when we talk in the Knesset about what is this is not even discrimination. Because discrimination is to give A less than B. But in Israel, you are not even discriminate against me. We demand for discrimination. We demand you to discriminate against us. This means to give us less than the Jews. But no, you are taking from us. You are taking from A and you are giving to B. So you are stealing us from everything. It is treatment of not even the enemy. It's a treatment of, we are the obstacle of the Jewish state. And this is what they answer us. They answer us, what you want? This is a Jewish state, and this is, the aim is to develop the Negev. What's the meaning of to develop the Negev? To develop the Negev. So we don't exist. And this is the real treatment. And this is why we don't accept the word discrimination. We don't exist. Israel plans as if we are not there. We are not there. Simply, we are not there. And you Judaize the Negev, and of course use the word to develop the Negev. To develop it, taking for granted to develop it to the Jews. And taking for granted that there are no Palestinians. And if there are some Palestinians, okay, we will throw them away. We will expel them, no problem. And there is a special ministry for developing, this is the name of the ministry, developing the Galilee and the Negev. Why the Galilee and the Negev? Because they are not satisfied with the demography percentage of the Palestinians in the Galilee, 50% Palestinians in the Galilee. They need a majority in everywhere. A majority in every region. Not just overall majority. No, but also in every region. We need a majority in the Galilee. So we create a ministry to develop, because if the Palestinians are above 50%, this means the Galilee is underdeveloped. If you are the majority there, this means that this region is underdeveloped. We must have efforts in order to have Jewish majority. And the ministries doesn't answer us as they answer you. No, we are a democracy. At least with us, they are so honest. In the Knesset, they say, we are a Jewish state. And you are invaders. And you can find it in the protocol of the Knesset of Uzi Lindau minister answer to me. You are invaders and you are the new. دايما بخربش بهاي الكلمة الصليبيين الجدد. The new crusaders. Formal answer of an Israeli minister 2013. And here Israel comes and talk about the democracy of Israel. Can anyone in the world, can any minister talk like this to his citizens? Invaders. And still call itself a democracy. Of course, a lot can do that, but at least no one calls them democracy. And no one treats them as if they are part of the European world, which defend the Europe, which defend the West from the terrorist Islam. Israel has confiscating the land, our land, 86%, and has developed 1,000 cities and villages since 1948. None of these, zero for the Palestinians. We are now living above 30%. And we cannot even use this 30% that we still own. We cannot have license to build houses. Israel has demolished a house 2 weeks ago after election in Kufur Kanna. Tomorrow, we have a strike. Tomorrow, in all 48, we have a strike because of destroying houses. Houses which we built on the remaining 3% of our land. And the Israeli police has killed, when I was here in US, before 5-6 days less, a Palestinian. 51 Palestinian the Israeli police have killed since 2000, and we are not Hamas. If the problem is Hamas. We even didn't throw stones. It was to kill them without any police since 2000, without any charge toward any Israeli police. From the 51 who killed, just one Israeli police has entered the jail for 24 months. So this is a violent system, which it's legitimate to discriminate against us. It is not just legitimate. It's in order to be a Jewish state, we cannot be a democracy. So this is what we are challenging. When we struggle for democracy, we are not just the African Americans who struggle for democracy, because also we are the indigenous people. Because we cannot struggle for civil rights within the existing definition of the state as a Jewish state. What the African American can. They can struggle for civil rights within the definition of America, because the definition of America is state for the citizens. In Israel, the state is for part of the citizen. It's not for me. And I am an obstacle. And if they want to plan anything, they must just move me. Like the Lego, you can move me here. And it is not just confiscation of land, it's also confiscation of my history. زينة من وين انت؟ وانت كمان ناصري. مين من الضفة؟ أهلين بالناصري. كلنا من الناصري. مين من الضفة؟ أصله. شو الاسم؟ شو اسمك؟ لين. Lin is a Palestinian, but Haneen cannot be a Palestinian. According to Israel, Lin can define itself as a Palestinian. But the minute Haneen defines itself as a Palestinian, then I am disloyal. So the meaning of citizenship in Israel, to be disloyal. To be disloyal to my people. To be disloyal to my history. So it is not just confiscating land, it's confiscating my history. It's confiscating my connection to my people, my identity. So the meaning of citizenship in Israel is some way bargaining between my rights and ability to stay in my homeland and my identity. So the whole idea of citizenship is something awful, something very disempowering, and something a way of colonizing my identity. So you are giving me my citizenship in one condition: to forget everything about myself, to lose myself, to have nothing to do with my people, nothing to do with my history. And if I did so, then logically I must thank you every day because I exist, because you didn't expel me. And this is why in Israel there is a special group of loyalty law. So you are oppressing me and you want me to be loyal to you and even to admire you. Admire you and to say thank you, Israel. You didn't expel me in 1948. And this is what we say. What they say. They say, look at the Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza Strip, how they live. Look at the Arabs in Syria and Egypt. But wait a minute. The Palestinians in the West Bank, you had destroyed their life. Cannot compare me. You have destroyed their life. You have destroyed 90% of Gaza factories. You have destroyed the education system in Jerusalem. And I remember myself reading when I was in 4th grade, in Arabic now, because, and we will translate. وبنينا لكم المدارس وعبدنا الشوارع. I remember myself reading a paragraph, and we build you schools and we pave you the streets. So I'm the primitive who you came and you just developed my country, and I must be so grateful to you. And you don't teach me that Jaffa that you destroyed, and the Palestinian cities that you destroyed, Jaffa was the most important seaport from Alexandria to Antakya, and Jaffa used to export 2 million orange boxes to the whole world, and MK had a theater there to do his festival, and Tawfiq al-Hakim, and we were Yeah, you know what I want to say. And then in Jaffa, there was 7 sport clubs you destroyed. And in Jaffa, there were 7 daily newspapers who were printed in an Arab matabi', printing press. Now we don't have 7 daily. Now in Israel, 70 years ago, we don't have 7 daily newspaper. We have 1 daily newspaper. And we don't print these newspaper in an Arab printing houses. We print them in a Jewish one when they have Pesach and Jewish religious. So they close, though we don't have a newspaper because of the Jewish holidays. And you are talking about how the way you developed me. You destroyed my civilization in Nakba. You destroyed my society. You expelled the elite, the wealthy, the educated. And you want me also to have a very inferior perception about myself as Palestinian. And in this, Israel has failed. It has occupied. It is treating us as invaders in a colonialist way, colonialist psychology toward us, the citizens, and in more oppressive way than Barghouti, destroying our national pride, attempting national pride, national identity in more oppressive way than Barghouti. Because, okay, at least the Palestinians are those who live in West Bank and Gaza. Why? In order to rewrite history. And it's not just a matter of confiscating land. They confiscate the land of Barghouti, but they confiscate my homeland. Means they confiscate the land, rename the geography, the names of the bridges, the streets, rename the cities, trying to change the landscape, in order not to recognize our homeland more. So this is a new history. We delete everything. Now Israel needs one thing: the legitimacy from the victim. Still, Israel needs to recognize Israel, to recognize اعتراف as Jewish state, in order not to appeal upon anything that I said. Of course, in the education system, we cannot study our history. In the Israeli, we pay taxes, we are citizens, but I pay taxes and I must study about Zionist history and about Hayim Nahman Bialik, but not Mahmoud Darwish. And we pay taxes and we must learn maybe how primitive we were, Gufi وعقال everything. Pay taxes to talk about how to internalize inferiority. And in the education system, the education minister has pulled every textbook which wrote or uses the word Nakba, because it was a period of time when they used the word Nakba, when they said this is the narrative, not the fact. It was not a fact that, it's a narrative, maybe an imagined narrative that we were expelled 1948. So the narrative, it was, and they used the word Nakba. But Gideon Sa'ar, Netanyahu minister 2-3 years ago, has give a direction to pull all the textbook with the expression Nakba. And Israel and all such insane laws, the acceptance committee law, pulling in Nakba, took place during the last 6-7 years. It is not on the beginning of Israel. When it was weak, she wanted to be so aggressive in the beginning, and after that, she will treat itself as a normal state. No. all of these very aggressive, colonialist, which express colonialist attitude, took place the last 6 years, not the first 6 years. And in Israel, there is a special law to prevent me from commemorating Nakba. Special law, you must not remember Nakba. It's by law. And the draft of the law was penalty to every individual or institution which commemorated Nakba. And we were asking what this means. What's individual commemoration? If I talked with my friends about Nakba, will some police come and arrested us? What this means? And then the last version of the law, which has been passed, every institution who took budget from the government and make anything during May, so we can make anything during April, or I don't know, but during May, because it's the independent, and we consider the independent as our catastrophe. This is what we say everywhere. Your Independent Day is our catastrophe. Then, if we did so, if any institution commemorated Nakba in any way, the Ministry of Finance can freeze the budgets of this institution. Can freeze the budget. And we don't know that till now. Some professor in the university said, what this is supposed to mean? A Jewish said, does this mean if we want to have a panel, a discussion about Nakba, is this to commemorate Nakba? Would the education ministry freeze the budget of the university? So, I want you to understand that Israel cannot come so easily and talk about Israel democracy. Please. She cannot. Unless Israel is a black hole, no one must talk about what's going on there. No one must follow the laws, and she can enjoy our full ignorance. Israel is a racist state. And I'm not talking about right wing. La. I'm not talking about the right wing. I'm not talking about Lieberman. Lieberman has no contribution at all in these 50 racist laws. At all. We are talking about the left wing. We are talking about Avudallah, the Labour Party. They are the Labour Party's law, party law, and the Likud law. Not the right wing, as if in Israel the problem is those few extremists. La. The problem is the system itself, the definition of the state itself. And if there is 50 rabbis, rabbi, who published a letter, 50, a letter, we should not rent houses to Arabs. It is a symptom. It is the outcome. Can 50 Muslim or Christian or I don't know in America, can they dare to think, not to publish, to think, to publish a letter not to rent houses to African American Jews, whatever? Can anyone think about that? And if they did, what would the world say? But this is so easy. This is going on so easy, and Israel continue to say, I am the only democracy, and you must defend me because we are equal and we give equal rights, and because we have representatives in the parliament. Yes, you have representative in the parliament because it's an indication of your strength and not your democracy. You are giving us to scream because you know that our scream makes no difference. You steal my homeland. You steal my land. You don't permit me to study my identity, to express my identity, to struggle for democracy, simple democracy, and you call me terror when I struggle, and then you say to me, okay, scream. You have a majority. It's a racist democracy. You have a majority, and a racist majority, and you uses this racist majority in order to justify your racism. Why you can, and you don't understand from democracy anything except the role of the majority, the tyranny of the majority. And why you have now a majority? Remember, because of ethnic cleansing, you have a majority. It's democracy that you force it by ethnic cleansing. Democracy, not democracy. Role of majority, because you reach this majority by ethnic cleansing. During the 47 years of occupation on Jerusalem, Israel has سحبت الجنسيات withdrew the identity from 176,000 Palestinians. Imagine the numbers. It's a continuous ethnic cleansing. It is not just that Nakba is an event in the past. Let's forget about it. It happened. Khalas. And now we are trying to build a real democracy. No, it's a continuous. It's ethnic cleansing, continuous process. Stealing my land, confiscation, continuous. Oppressing me. Judaizing, not just Jerusalem, Judaizing every single region. Still, the Israeli intelligence involved himself in appointing teachers and head teachers in the schools. Still. So, what our message is to, first of all, Israel should be accountable for this. It cannot come and have this warm meetings all over the world and no one ask her. 50 laws, every senator should know these 50 laws. Okay, you want to support Israel. Okay, but know that you are supporting Israel in spite of this and this and this and this and this and this. We don't want the world to love us, to love the Palestinians. We don't need love. It's Israel who needs love in order to forget about her crimes. We don't need love, any love. We need justice, and we ask the Americans not to be part of this racist policy. Because it's your taxes. This is what we are telling the Americans. This is your taxes. And this is your regime. And okay, you cannot be neutral. You cannot be neutral. So please be aware that you are part of this oppression. You are part of the oppression. And it's not Hamas. I'm not Hamas. And I'm the most hated. I'm a feminist woman. I am a liberal woman. And when we say democracy and equality between men and women, and not just between Israelis and Palestinians, Arab and Jews inside my homeland. And it is not because we are Palestinians, because Israel wants Arabs inside the Knesset. It wants Zionist Arabs inside the Knesset to be part of the system. It wants Zohair Bahlul or other names. Okay, Israel wants Arabs, but it doesn't want the voice of the victim. Israel wants the good Arabs, and it all the time give names of Arab. Yeah, okay, it's your Arabs, yalla, صحتين. They don't represent us. In every society, there are those who feel inferior and want to identify with the oppressor. Okay. Yeah, a lot. And all of them said, Haneen doesn't represent us. Of course I don't represent you. Of course, يعني, it would be a catastrophe if I represent you. So Israel wants the good Arabs. And everybody, this is so easy. We have treasure of very racist laws, declaration of the Israeli ministries, the public opinion. We must talk about public opinion, the Israeli public opinion. According to the Israeli Democratic Institution, which make an index of democracy every year, according to the index of 2012, 55% of the Israelis don't agree with full equality to the Palestinian citizen. Don't agree. 55. Theoretically, not talking about national struggle, or occupation, or Jerusalem. La. We are talking about equality. Simple equality. 55 don't agree. So how come this is a society which is ready to peace and want peace? She doesn't want equality to the citizen. And to shock you more, 30% of the Israeli society agree, and this is the website, www.idi.co.il. 30% of the Israeli society agree to put the Palestinians, the Palestinian citizen, into reservation, if a war has raised between Israel and the Arab world, in order for us not to collaborate and to be fifth column.
Can you repeat the website again?
لا الويب سايت الجملة صعبة انتوا بتعيدوها www.idi Israeli Israeli Democracy Institution, something like that. But IDI, it is the Israeli Institute for Democracy, but the website www.idi.co.il. .co. No, co.il. L for Israel. IL. It's like the America and the Japanese in the second. Exactly. 30%. So this is the society. And why this is the society? Because this is legitimate to be racist. This is part of the game. This is part of the definition. This is part of the political culture. And regarding the occupation, we know, but some important statistic regarding Gaza, it's not just the murder and the killing and pumping Gaza every 2 years as a way to maintenance the siege, kill children. 95% of the water of Gaza is polluted. 95, it's the UN statistics. And the settlements has been grown during the last 10 years, the settlers 3 times since 2002, since the negotiation. And according to the Israeli researchers, Israel expand settlements during negotiation time more than it expands settlements during مش الوار during لما فيش. Why there is no negotiation? It feels more comfortable to negotiate and expand settlements. This means to force facts on the ground. And if you ask any Israeli, do you want what's your opinion about peace? He will answer you like this. First of all, of course, the Palestinians are terrorists. They don't want peace. Okay, we understand that. Third of all, if you want to be more honest with you, he will say to you, but we don't need peace. The question, this is the question. If peace is a need, and when peace is a need, when you pay the price of your occupation, when you pay the price of oppression, but you don't pay. The Palestinians, I said the Palestinians, the citizens, don't exist, and we are obstacles. They can move us. When they want to develop a curriculum, history curriculum, we don't exist. When they want to develop this area, we don't exist. Okay, 5 minutes, okay. But also in the consciousness of the Israelis, the Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza Strip are don't exist anymore. They are not just behind the wall, they are behind the ocean. They are very far away. They don't disturb our lives. And we don't pay the price. Nor economically we are a friend of the USA. And when we speak in the Knesset and we say, the Arab MKs, the world will punish you, will isolate you, then any minister will come and say to us, answer us, be calm. No one will punish us. We have a very good relation with everyone, better relation with the USA and better relation with... And we sit and we say to ourselves, yes, he's right. We are wrong. So as long as Israel doesn't... And it is a very simple معادلة, equation. As long as Israel doesn't pay the price, it will not reconsider its policies. And we cannot just wait for the salvation from inside Israel. It is not something related to the internal dynamics. So people ask us, what about the left wing? No left wing in Israel. We said to you 55% of the society doesn't agree with equal. No left wing. Merits, even merits, has won 4 seats. And merits has supported the war in Gaza for the first 2 weeks, the last war upon Gaza. Merits. The extremist left in the Knesset support the war in Gaza. So no. Since Camp David II, 1998, since Barak has said there is no partner to peace, the whole society have shifted its strategy, and the political elite in Israel has shifted its strategy toward a one-sided solution and toward, okay, there is no Palestinian side to accept our dictations, and the maximum we give is less than the minimum the Palestinian can accept, so we will solve it by ourselves. And they did. They did it with 3 strategies. The wall, the siege, we forget about Gaza, and we said to the whole world, there is no occupation. No occupation while Israel controls the sea border and the borders and the movement of the people and the movement of the goods and the registration system of the people and the taxes system of Gaza and the electricity and everything controls the life of the people, destroying schools, pumping, everything, distortion of society, and put 2 million people in a jail, and they say Gaza is free, we ended the occupation. 2 minutes. And 3 strategies. So forget about Gaza with the siege, forget about the West Bank with the wall, and military coordination with the Palestinian Authority. So why to end occupation? It's done. There's no occupation. We control everything. It's It is not, there is no need to solve the struggle. We need just to maintain and to إدارة الصراع, to manage. And we are to manage the struggle, and we are managing it very, very well. Very well. And we have a routine. We can still have a very routine and progress and strengthening our economy as Israel, and everything is okay, and we don't pay the price. And if anyone criticizes us, we will say anti-Semitic, and we will mention the Holocaust. But you cannot mention the Holocaust because you don't represent the victims of the Holocaust. Because the whole lesson of the Holocaust and the whole idea is don't kill and don't be racist. And you kill and you are racist. So we are the victim. We, the Palestinians, can represent the victims of the Holocaust, not you. And it is a humiliation of the victim of the Holocaust. Every time you mentioning them while you are racist, you are humiliating the Holocaust. And you are humiliating the victims of the Holocaust. We are respecting the Holocaust as a strategy. You are not. You are using them in order to justify your crimes against humanity and your war crimes and your oppression of the Palestinians. And our vision, and this is in order not to have your sign for the third time, I will finish. Having saying all what we say, we are representing a vision of justice, to live together in equality. We don't want to throw the Jews, the Israelis to the sea. We don't. But there is no possibility with a racist definition. We demand right of return to the Palestinians, to their homes. We demand total withdrawal from the West Bank and Gaza Strip. We demand East Jerusalem, and we demand state for all of its citizens. We cannot live in peace and justice with Zionism and Jewish state as a racist state. And we don't care whether one state or two states. So I don't like the question of one state or two states. One state, I find it a very academic and running هروب للأمام. It's running from the problem. The problem now is the suffering of our people, and the suffering, in the violence. The Palestinian farmers cannot enter their fields in order to يحصدوا الزرع تبعهن. And thank you.
Just a continuation of the first questions, how the fact that now 13 members in the Knesset are parts, how this would change this dynamic, that are you able to influence laws, are you able to influence coalition building than you were able to do this before?
And one more.
I never know how to refer to the Palestinians in Israel. Do you call yourself Palestinian Arabs, Palestinian Israelis?
Palestinian citizens of Israel. Palestinian citizens of Israel, in order to differentiate us from.
Okay. Would you like to answer these?
Yes.
Would you mind coming up here again? Sorry. And
Okay. I didn't mean to be pessimistic or to depress you. I'm sorry. We are not depressed. We have the energy and the power to continue. And to tell you the truth, I don't believe in such expressions like optimism or pessimism. We keep struggling. You must struggle. It's part, and it turned to be part of your ethics. It's part of your life. It's not just a matter of efficiency. And at least, even when we are depressed, your pride, your personal pride, will keep you going and will keep you struggling. And sometimes, even when you're depressed and you see Jarrafi Jarrafi, bulldozer, comes to destroy your home, your neighbor home, or any home, you feel angry. So sometimes the anger, I have a lot of respect to anger, a lot, because the anger keep you struggling. And it is a way to fight oppression, depression, and pessimism. Now to the empowering part of my speech. We, the Palestinian side, Israel. First of all, having saying what I said, Israel failed. Israel, I am here speaking about me as a Palestinian. This is a failure of the Zionist project to have us Israeli Arabs, to identify and to refer to us as Israeli Arabs. The fact that we are belonging ourselves to our people, the fact that we have a political vision of a state for all of its citizens, and that we say that our struggle for democracy challenges Zionism, that democracy is challenging Zionism, that democracy and struggle for democracy and equality and justice is challenging the definition of Israel as a Jewish state. This is something that embarrasses Israel, because Israel wants to say we are a threat because we are Palestinians, not because we struggle for democracy. And when Israel give us the citizenship, she thought that by citizenship we will lose our historical demand. And she thought that we will have to choose between citizenship without an identity or an identity without a citizenship. And suddenly we pave the third alternative. Also citizenship and also identity. And this is our struggle. 100% citizenship, full equality, like the African Americans, and 100% identity like the Indians in America, with the identity of the indigenous people. We want both. Also equality, also citizenship, and also identity. And with this, Israel cannot answer us. When we say, okay, you call yourself a democracy, so let's say what democracy means. Democracy means that these 50 laws must be gone. Democracy means that you cannot have special immigrant and citizenship laws for Jews and special for Palestinians. Democracy means that you cannot prevent me from getting married to a second generation of refugees in the USA, and then you prevent me from going home and living inside Israel, because this is citizenship law says. If I decided to marry a Palestinian, second generation from the USA, refugee, yeah, I cannot continue living in Nazareth. You have a law which influence the family unification. They call it a family unification law, and it started 2003. Even the apartheid in South Africa has respected the unity of the family. But the fact we are talking like this is empowering. The fact we didn't adopt the Zionist the Zionist slogan and vision and narrative and ideology. And we are challenging. The fact we are challenging is empowering. And this is for us, we don't de-estimate this. Israel till now is trying to target the youth by civic service program. By saying you don't serve in the army because you are not obliged to serve in the army by law, so you must serve in a civic service program. And we said, no, we don't want to serve also in the civic service program. We don't want to serve in the army. We don't want to serve in the police. We don't want to be to be ambassadors or diplomatics in order to, we cannot represent Israel and its policies. So our equality is not, it's also directed by a taboo by specific. Now, we are also not a bridge. No, we are not a bridge. La, we are not neutral. We are part of our people, yani. We are part of our people. We are not neutral. And yalla, you the Israelis and you the Palestinians, yalla, yani, شو اسمه? يعني, reach a solution. No, we are part. We are not outside history and outside people and outside the struggle and outside the solution and not just a bridge. We are not a bridge. This is maybe what the Palestinian Authority wants us to do, and this is maybe what Israel wants us to do, and this is why, and this vision of a state for all of its citizens, and equality as challenging Zionism, and equality as challenging the definition of Israel as a Jewish state, has been so clear just after Oslo. And our answer, or raising the question, what's the relation between us and the macro-Palestinian struggle, we raised just after Oslo. We started to raise seriously after Oslo. Why? Because Oslo said to us, bye. You are excluded. You are an internal Israeli issue. So we said, no, wait a minute. And this was so clear in our narrative after Oslo. That no. It's not a matter of a state. What about us? What about our rights? What about the refugees' rights? We are part of the Palestinian issue. And our struggle inside Israel is part, we define it as part of the Palestinian struggle against racism, the racism of the Zionism. This is how defined. And we are empowered by because we know how Israel defined this challenge as challenging to her. And I will give you what Diskin, the head of the Israeli intelligence, said in 2007, before the Arab Spring. But it's still relevant. That Israel faces three challenges. The nuclear weapon of the Iranian nuclear weapon, Hezbollah, and those among us who challenge Israel as a Jewish state. So we are a challenge like the nuclear, the Iranian. Yes, so look how big we are. We are challenging. This is, for Israel, real struggle for democracy is challenging. This is the threat. This is what we want the American to understand. For Israel, the struggle for democracy is a threat. Israel criminalizing our struggle because it is a struggle for democracy, not because it is a national struggle. Yes, we know that our struggle for democracy is part of national struggle, and it contributes to national struggle because it's challenging Zionism. But we want the Americans to understand that they criminalize Haneen because we struggle for a state for all of citizens before Marmara, and Marmara was an excuse. I belong to the National Democratic Assembly. I belong to the National Democratic Party, which have this vision, which started this vision of a state for all of its citizens. And the head of my party was persecuted before me, Azmi Bshara. So part of you to understand why they had this woman, it's not just Marmara. It's the whole vision, the whole struggle. For them, it's من وين أجوا هدولا. يعني what's من وين شو هالstruggle يعني for them, okay, you can struggle for equality. You can struggle for your own people and call against and struggle against occupation and against siege. But to challenge then the rules of the game, this is something new. To challenge the rule of the game, you can struggle for democracy within the rule of the game. The rule of the game, Israel is a state for the Jews, and you can maybe, I can struggle for equality like the Ethiopian, like the Russian, but not like the indigenous people who say, wait a minute, you are living on my land and you are doing, I need full equality, also national equality, and I am part of a people. So this challenge mean to do this challenge, to handle this challenge, this means that you need a lot of power. And for us, the union list may not, still we are a minority, still we are 13 within 112 Knesset member. Still Israel will not return to be a democracy because we are the third party, but it's empowering to our people, and it's empowering also outside the Knesset, not inside the Knesset. And we don't consider the parliamentarian struggle to be the main struggle. It is the struggle of the people in the streets. In order to freeze bravery plan in the Negev, it was not due to our work inside the parliament. It was due to the strikes. It was due to the demonstrations, blocking streets. So this, okay. Who support you? No one. Who agree with us? Who, I don't know. We support ourselves. And we try to reach you. We try to reach those who can support us, and I finish 30 seconds. ثانية. Those who support us would be the anti-Zionists, of course, and these are the margins of the margins. And we have some cooperation with Merit sometimes regarding some pravar, and we are trying regarding civic issues. We can coordinate regarding, for example, my main topic, to raise the percentage of Palestinian working women. For me, it's very empowering. And I can have some MKs regarding civic topics, because 90% of our work inside the parliament is also about poverty. I didn't tell you that 54% of the Palestinians are under poverty line. 54% under poverty line. 64% of the Palestinian children are under poverty line. Although we are 18%, our percentage in the universities is 10%. And we need to go to the West Bank and to Jordan, our students. There are about 10,000 Arab Palestinian students outside Palestine, in Jordan. We are 8% or no, 10% in governmental position. And I forget the statistics, but it was also shocking that a large part of the Israeli society doesn't agree to appoint us in governmental high positions. We are 2% of the private sector. Employment. We are less than 0.5% of the high tech in Israel. So in everywhere of the civic also domain, we are underrepresented, just in poverty and in jails. We are represented. Land statistics. What do you mean? I said we own now 3%. We own 3% from the land. From the industrial areas, although we are 18%, we have 2.3% from the industrial areas is industrial areas for the Palestinians. We are on the margins of the Israeli economy, and Israel doesn't agree to merge us in the, no. Israel doesn't agree to let us develop our own Palestinian economy. We don't have a bank. We don't have insurance company. 20% of the society. We don't have university. We are not allowed to have university. Bank. معلش تحكيها بالإنجليزي. عنا مشاكل للمزارعين بعطوش رخص تربية دجاج ومواشي للفلسطينيين الcitizens.
They don't give licenses for people to grow poultry and
الدواجن حتى الدجاج.
yeah, poultry, to raise
Yeah.
poultry.
So, what kind of statistics do you? Somewhere. I will give you اكتب www.adalah.org. It's a legal system which write about unrecognized villages. We have 39 unrecognized villages. This means villages that exist, people that exist, but don't exist on the maps, on the Israeli maps. Don't have services, electricity, schools. In Adala, you will find this. In Akri, I will write now for you 4 websites.